Hawaii on vacation. It's also why we like to live here. It is beautiful blue with puffy white clouds drifting in on trade winds at 15 to 20 miles an hour. Been like that all day long. The high of the afternoon here in Mountain View, despite the bright sun, is 79 degrees. Absolutely perfect. Such a wonderful day that I've been inspired to work on my greenhouse project today. The shed behind me, I finished up putting the casings around the windows and the trim along the corners of the building and such yesterday. This afternoon I got a call from HPM that says that my roofing is ready. Currently I've got a silver tire floating on top of the rafters over there. Tomorrow we go get the steel roofing and we're going to go ahead and put the roof on it. Then I can start to move all my tools in there, build some cabinets and some benches for propagation and so on. But while I was waiting for that, I decided to take an old steel frame carport shelter that I had, and I'm recycling it as a greenhouse structure. Before we walk all the way up the hill, though, so I can show you that, let's take a look around the nursery at some of the stuff I'm growing here. We moved here from California on the 8th of May, and at that point my nursery was almost completely empty. I had sold everything that was here to the neighbors, and so I've started to propagate and grow everything you see here since early May. Here are my orange dragon fruits from seed. This is going to be very exciting. I'm really excited about the orange dragon fruits. My papayas are growing like crazy. I put some of those in the field between the coffee already. Over here you'll see a whole bunch of cacao or chocolate. It's popping up out of the soil. Here's the next crop of lettuce coming on. Sweet potatoes getting ready to start out there. This crop of lettuce, though, is like totally blowing my mind. I've put it here in tubs because the slugs in this area can be problems with lettuce, and I decided to stick it up here in plastic tree tubs with copper bands to keep slugs and such out of it. And this is what we call Manoa lettuce. It's an introduction from University of Hawaii, Manoa. It's very popular here on the island. And it was planted on the 9th of May from seeds, and it's just beautiful. It's almost ready to harvest. I'm going to thin these out a little later on this week. Ellen is coming over for good from the mainland, and she loves Manoa lettuce, and so she'll be so excited when she sees this. There's 2 inches of water in the rain gauge. We got that in the last 4 or 5 days, I believe. Over here I've got some frisee endive with a Hawaiian chili pepper up the middle. Right here I have some of the Maui onions. And for all you Californians, I refuse to leave my artichokes behind. I have some Imperial Star artichokes starting right over here. And over here I got a big cluster of white pineapple plants. Here are the baby Desert King dragon fruits, sizing up slowly. These over here are the Kapoho sweet dragon fruits from my friend Greg Adams down in Kapoho. And over here are the eggplants. They were planted about the 10th of May from seed. And then I've got my pepper plants, chilies and such. Coming along nicely over here. And a little later I planted some Inue lettuce, which is kind of like a midget iceberg. Right here is the shed that's been taking up most of my time. This would have been a simple project if I hadn't decided to do a plantation style roof on this thing. That is something new to me. I have never done a plantation style, or what they call hip roof. And so it kind of slowed me down. Anyway, I got the door. It's sitting in the garage. The inside is pretty much finished. You can see in here the framing drove me absolutely stark raving mad. The angles. I'm not a mathematician. I'm a gardener, and the angles really put me to work. But we got her. Me and Dave Cannon, we managed to get this all stuck together in here. once I get the roof on, then I'll go ahead and finish off the walls inside, put up stuff to hang my tools on. I am so excited about this. It's going to be a propagation bench in here, be seed storage, and it's going to be wonderful. And it's right here, right outside my nursery, and right out the back of the bedroom door over there in the carport, so it's conveniently located. One of the next projects coming up is over the top of the nursery in the backyard. I'm going to put up a 26 by 12 foot Lexan clear acrylic plastic lid over the backyard to keep the crops in the nursery dry, because sometimes it rains a little too much here for things like cacti, and tomatoes don't really like it that much. The hill here behind the house is my sweet corn. We got some pigeon peas going here, some regular snap peas going. I also have spaghetti squash up here, and then I got a whole bunch of beans and cucumbers in this location. It's right on the boundary with the neighbor over here. Push the cornfield right out to the fence lines. Living here under the mountain apple in the Rollinia. The garden patch is bordered by pineapples, ubiquitous pineapples. The spaghetti squash right here is starting to take off, heading across the weed block. Again, this squash was a seed on the 8th of May. Today, I believe, is about the 20th of June. So a month and a half from a seed. Things really put it on here. My Italian beans, again planted 9th of May, are beginning to flower up. So we'll have beans to pick very soon. Vortex pole beans are reaching for the guava stakes here. Oop, that one's reaching for itself. Looks like I better give it a twist so it gets started. But they're starting to go up the poles already. Very exciting. I had this ginger in a 2-gallon bucket sitting down in the nursery, but the other day I decided I'd move it up here at the end of the corn row. I have to get a little bit more involved in growing ginger. I like the stuff, and it grows really, really well here. A guy across the street actually raises about 5 acres of it for the market. And then I had a guy on YouTube ask me how come I wasn't growing any mangoes. Well, here's evidence that I am. Here is a mango tree. Cacao is doing very well, all potted up over here. I started harvesting pods, and I've been doing a couple things with them. I'm planting more cacao plants to sell. I've also been drying the cacao bean so that we can roast it. And it has finally happened. It'll be, I guess, maybe about 2 years back or so that a friend of mine brought me a cutting of the Jamaican lilikoi, or Jamaican passion fruit. I've never tasted one of these. They claim it's excellent. It's finally started to flower. I see just today it popped open a blossom. Blossom's really gorgeous, and what a passion flower, huh? Can't wait. And I'll get some of these, and then I'll have seed eventually, and so I'll let you all know when we're harvesting Jamaican lilikoi. The plant, as far as a passion fruit's concerned, is really gorgeous. The leaves are very glossy, dark green. It's not nearly as rampant as a lot of the passion vines. I haven't done too much pruning on it, and you can see right here that it's, I guess, about 2 years growth on this thing. It's not overly large. My grapes grow a whole lot faster, that's for sure. Dragon fruit's coming on. Dragon fruit's coming on. These things are nearly ever bearing around here. I just love them. One of my favorite crops, the dragon fruit. I tossed a little bit of chicken manure down under my blackberries, and they have responded by bursting loose with piles of blossoms and immature fruit here. Anyway, I started planting papayas the other day, the Hawaiian solos. These are the Waimanalo solo. Putting them in between my coffee plants over here. Eventually we'll get over the top of the coffee plants. There, laying behind them is another one of my projects, more stakes to put up more dragon trees, and I'm also going to stake out some wires for passion fruit. On this end of the row, I've got fresh pineapples. These are the newest plants I have here in between the coffee. They're doing very well. Not ready yet. August, probably. Yeah, looks like August. Getting there, though. Oh, they're so delicious. Taro's growing really well. Hawaiian, anybody? I actually put this in because I like the leaves to use for making lau. Not that crazy about poi. Over here is corn. This is mostly grinding and popcorn. I had to order the seed. I hadn't grown grinding or popcorn in years and years, so I didn't have any of my own seed. Had to bring it in, so I'm not exactly sure of the date, but it couldn't have been put in much before the very end of May, because I know I got most of this either from Victory Seeds or got it from Johnny's Selected Seeds. I've got the Oaxacan Green Dent here in the foreground, Nostein Dent next to it. Beyond that, I've got Rainbow Gems, and then a little further beyond that, Japanese Hulless Popcorn. Came through between the corn rows the other day and used propane flamer to get rid of the weeds. It works pretty well around here. I will probably use flamers a lot more. I don't like herbicides. It's not good around the corn anyway. And cultivation here does work. I have my tiller and I have my hose and so on, but in this case over here, you'll see I've got the popcorn is actually growing in an area where there was no tillage done at all. Same with the corn under my feet. The only reason the soil is clear is that I had some weed block over it, pulled it off, threw some pelletized organic fertilizer down, a little bit of limestone, and strewed the corn seeds in the ground. Over here I got a whole row of kabocha squash. In the foreground we've got a brand new red skin kabocha. On the far end I've got a mini kabocha. Kabocha is very, very popular here in Hawaii, so I figure I should have no problem selling this. This area I did till the soil. Basil, looking good. A little bit of zucchini plants here. It's also a whole lot of carrots. I got 5 varieties of carrots out here. They're currently way too small to see, but they're up. Some of them anyway are up and they're growing. And then there's of course the bananas, almost as ubiquitous as the pineapples here. And over here is the ace tomato in the ground. Yum, blueberries, or well at this point green berries, if I can keep them away from the cardinals. Sure wish I could hide them with the hibiscus, huh? More and more grumichamas. This has definitely become my favorite Eugenia. I've never been a big one on Eugenias. I'm not going to let you guys see that. And over here I've got tomatoes in tubs. Again, keeping them up and out of the ground. They're actually right here under the roof of my lanai. I've got 3-foot overhangs here on the house. It's the same place I put the dragon fruit on the dragon trees recently. These are, again, ace tomato here in this bucket. Over here in this bucket I've got my own introduction. This is what I call Summer Surprise. It's a determinate Italian plum style. So far so good. They're doing really good. The ones out there in the field are at risk in this area. The amount of rain we get usually messes with tomatoes pretty bad. Most of the commercial crops are grown in houses here to keep the rain off. Anyhow, decided that the cheapest, easiest, fastest way for me to get by with all of this was just to stick them under the eaves, because I don't have my greenhouse built yet. So far so good. It's working quite nicely. Impressive, because these tomato plants were seeds on the 9th of May. This soft leaf agave, the Agave attenuata, is one of my favorite landscape plants here. It grows really well with sweet potatoes. I have sweet potatoes for ground covers, and I have oregano for ground covers over there, and then right here I've got a miracle fruit. These grow really slow, but anybody out there who's ever tried this is an amazing fruit. The little orange fruits kind of taste like rancid peanut butter in themselves, but when you eat one for 20 minutes afterwards, you can't taste acid. And so a lemon tastes like syrup when you eat one of these things. and a Safeway strawberry is actually edible. Scary. Well, it's one of them days where you can just see to the ends of the earth from here. That's the Pacific out there. Right over here, directly across the driveway from the house, I moved some of the old weed block from the location where the corn is at. I took it and moved it over here because I'm going to start working on a new garden in this spot for fall. So I'm killing off all the grass with the weed block. That's a pretty good size area. As I pull up more of the weed block, I'll keep moving it over here to this side. Also going to put a road up this side because this is the entrance to the second acre, which currently is doing nothing but growing grass and koa trees. So here was today's project. I erected a steel tube frame. It originally was a silver tarp carport shelter that I'd used here years ago while we were camping in the rain. Some of the pipes got destroyed and blah blah as it was sitting around, and I used some of them to hold up the Jamaican lily koi, for instance, over the years. And so I went out and got some brand new piping and refurbished it all. And then just this morning I came up and I set the whole thing in here on top of a fresh piece of weed block. The UV stable poly is on order, and so are a set of clips that will hold it down to the frame. Maybe tomorrow or the next day, somewhere along the line, as I get the energy, I'm going to box the bottom of this with 2x4s so we can fasten the poly at the bottom end. That pretty much covers it for today. The greenhouse is way up the hill here behind the house. You can see the roof down over there. It's a spectacular view from up here. We can see miles and miles of the ocean. Most of the rest of the island, probably almost 1/16 of the shoreline of this island, I think. I can also see the chain of craters out there, the Kilauea's volcano, where the active flow is at with Pu'u'o'o. The other day when it started flowing, I could see a big red flash in the forest at night. The coffee is doing fairly well. The yield's not bad, considering we just went through 3 years of drought here in Hawaii too. The coffee definitely suffered. I had a lot of defoliation, and I haven't been around feeding it. But now that we've moved here, I'll start spending more time with it. I gave it some fish emulsion the other day, and I see it's starting to pop loose with flowers. I had buds all over the place, so we're really going to get a good set here. And then for you stinky fruit lovers, this is not the biggest one, but here is a durian tree. I actually have 2 durian that I planted, courtesy of David Cannon, who brought them by for me. Very exciting. It'll take me probably 20 years to see durian. As far as I'm concerned, that's probably too soon. These betel nut palms sure are pretty looking things, quite magnificent. This one was a gallon can palm that I bought probably about 8 years ago. It was a little shaver about 12 inches high when I picked it up. Now I guess it looks like it's about 15 feet up or more. Had a entire Williams banana plant collapse in the winds and the storm the other day, so I had to go down and take the fruit off. I'm ripening her up here. Pretty soon we're going to have an awful lot of banana nut bread, that's for sure. Well, so that's about the size of it for now. There's always lots to talk about around here, I guess, but I got to watch it. If I start raving about how much I absolutely adore living in Hawaii, I'm going to convince people from all over the world to come here. Then the place will get crowded and I won't like it as much. Here we have 4,000 square miles with only about 200,000 people on it. Most of this island is wilderness, and a whole lot of it is in public land. And so it's perfect. I love it here. Stay away. Happy gardening. Happy gardening.